I came to a realization the other day when talking to when talking to a friend, and that's this. I hate the Game Awards. Like, I genuinely hate them. They turn everyone into such whiner babies.
Whiner babies.
Despite the fact that we all acknowledge that they're a joke of a show and they don't represent gamers at all. Like, just to recap, the Game Awards this year nominated a game for Best Indie, despite it not being an indie. They nominated an esports coach for Best Esports Coach, despite the fact that he wasn't actually an esports coach during the year in question. They nominated Destiny 2 for Best Community Support, despite the community support for Destiny 2 being a complete joke and the reason why a ton of people lost their jobs this year. They nominated Cyberpunk for Best Ongoing Game, despite it being a single-player game that just got some patches, and by this logic, every single player game that's ever gotten a patch now qualifies as an ongoing game. Like, we've firmly established that the people making these decisions are not in touch with gamers, and they are not the experts they claim to be. And yet, no matter how much evidence there is to support that, we're still told by countless people on the internet that they should be taken seriously. Like, yeah guys, I know the experts have proven themselves to not actually be experts multiple times in the last 5 minutes, but they also said a thing that I like, therefore they are actually experts still. The level of selective expertise that goes on every fucking year with this show drives me up a wall, and it really doesn't even matter what games we're talking about. As I put it to my friend, they could give every single award to Silent Hill 2 and Super Smash Bros. Melee. Every single award goes to those two games, and I'd still want to throw the whole thing in a trash can and set it on fire, because of the attitudes it generates, and the mental gymnastics people are willing to jump through to justify certain decisions being spot on and worthy, while other decisions made by the same fucking people are totally backwards and prove how much of a bunch of shills they are, when all the while we could just be playing games that we like, instead of building pedestals to put the opinions of people who aren't us up on top of them about games that we may or may not have played. Like, oh my god, it's just so annoying. It's so frustrating. I don't get why people still take this show so seriously. I don't get why you care. And despite me making a whole video about the salt surrounding the Game Award nominees a few days ago, the salt just keeps fucking flowing and I keep getting tagged in threads, so goddammit I kept taking screenshots, so goddammit get yourself a 4D gaming mousepad with code JOE for 10% off, and goddammit let's lose a few more lives of our minutes. God damn it.
Marker.
And god damn it, let's lose a few more minutes of our lives poking fun at the people who care way too much about the fucking Game Awards, god damn it. Uni-sensei says if Xbox didn't buy Blizzard this year, Diablo 4 would have definitely been nominated for Game of the Year. Instead, they nominated a remake of a 20-year-old game. The gaming media is corrupted by engagement and stat-hunting execs and Nintendo/Sony fanboys desperate for access. Hashtag Xbox tax. Hashtag boycott TGA. You know, I can't help but notice you're upset about the fact that Diablo 4 wasn't nominated, instead of the fact that Diablo 4 didn't deserve to be nominated. You know? The fact that some kind of Xbox bias kept Diablo 4 from a nomination seems to be much more of a problem to you than the fact that Diablo 4 was broken upon release and Blizzard dragged their heels for like 3 to 4 months before actually putting effort into fixing it, meaning yeah, I don't think it deserved to be nominated for Game of the Year. But we all know why you're focusing in on Diablo 4 because you put hashtag Xbox tax at the end of the tweet. Moving on. Unleashed says, Xbots say, why wasn't Starfield nominated for art direction? And then some screenshots of Starfield character models. Nice screenshots, super funny, but what does this have to do with art direction? Like, do you know what art direction is? Do you know what art direction means? Or did your brain stop at art direction means visual pretty and Starfield has visual not pretty? Like, clowning on a game that you dislike because it didn't get nominated for an award is one thing, but if you insist on doing that, I recommend sticking to clownings that actually make sense, because otherwise you just look like a third grader. At Sage says, when Phil said it doesn't matter how good of a game they release and that they'll never outsell Sony on consoles, he was referring indirectly to the Xbox tax. Phil knows they would never get a specific result because the largely pro-Sony media will always downplay anything Xbox. and you spelled anything wrong. Yeah, because when your favorite product has been wronged somehow, the best course of action, obviously, is to start reading the minds of the people in charge of your favorite product. Like, have you considered that maybe Phil said PlayStation will sell more console game copies because PlayStation sells more consoles consistently? And the reason he said this was to justify Xbox's strategy, because Xbox's strategy is obviously quite different from PlayStation's. Like, there are totally legitimate and normal reasons for him to have said this. And depending on how you want to look at it, him saying this wasn't even really an L for Xbox, it was just a statement of reassurance. But you take this as indirect subliminal confirmation of the Xbox tax, and you see your side as the bigger people in the console war. Fucking never change. Boss Sean says the only thing the Game Awards do: empower online trolls who aren't gamers. I can get behind that. PlayStation fanboys that hate on Xbox. What? Continued stagnation and decreasing quality from PlayStation. You think the Game Awards are responsible for that? This buggy dog shit that's dead is nominated over more polished games. PlayStation Awards aren't organic. Thumbs down vomit emoji. So what I'm getting from this is that you think the Game Awards are a giant circle jerk with the purpose of laughing at Xbox and propping up PlayStation. Like you're right about the circle jerk part, but you think the purpose is basically just a console war between PlayStation and Xbox? Just a reminder that of the 9 Game Awards ceremonies that have taken place, PlayStation has won Game of the Year a whopping 2 times. Like, just 2 times. The same number of times as From Software. So, I mean, by this logic, the Game Awards exist only to prop up From Software, which obviously isn't true, but you know. And also, almost every single event has been hosted at the fucking Microsoft Theater. But, as many of you were probably already thinking, if Starfield was nominated for Game of the Year, none of you would be saying this about the event, you know? Like, if Starfield was up for Game of the Year, you guys would all be tuning in and waiting with bated breath to see if it would get the win. You would take this show so completely seriously if Starfield was on the ballot. But since it's not on the ballot, the whole thing is a sham. Like, come on. The Red Dragon wrote a fucking essay, and it wouldn't be a Twitter salt video without the Red Dragon, because I don't think this guy has a job or friends, or he certainly doesn't play games, because all he's ever doing is fucking Twitter console warring. But anyways, he tweets out, Xbox should be thankful that the Game Award Game of the Year... Fuck, shut up. God damn it, Joe, you suck. Marker. Xbox should be thankful that the Game Awards Game of the Year wasn't increased from 6 nominees to 8. That would have been even more embarrassing, because Starfield still wouldn't have made the cut. No one can tell you why Starfield deserves it other than my feelings. And then he starts a long-ass checklist that I had to put into multiple screenshots, because this is what we're doing in the middle of a work week. He said, it's a dated game that would have been neat 10 years ago. We've colonized the universe, but biggest city is size of just one small district of Spider-Man, and probably not even that big. Does absolutely nothing new. Does absolutely nothing better than other RPGs. Buggy with shallow, mostly barren worlds, 30 FPS on console, low critic scores and abysmal player review scores with barely 30% even getting to rank 10, which takes hardly any effort or time. If you gotta tell people you need 20 hours before it gets fun, a story so boring, overwhelming majority will never finish it. There's nothing that's Game of the Month, Year, or Generation laughing, crying emoji material. Only reason it's still even a topic of discussion is because Xbox fans and Microsoft once again overhyped this game to an ungodly amount of pure hopium. Xbox always overpromises and underdelivers. Hashtag the Game Awards, hashtag Xbox tax, hashtag Xbox, hashtag Microsoft, hashtag Game Awards, hashtag Starfield, and then 2 Photoshops making fun of Xbox fans. Holy shit. Well, for starters, I love that you start this whole thing with meh. People just want Starfield because my feelings. But then you proceed to go on a long-ass emotional rant with an attached Photoshop of Phil Spencer crying. Like, how is it possible to be like this unironically? How is it humanly possible to think you are being the bigger person here? You're writing fucking Twitter essays, laughing at people for being disappointed that Starfield wasn't nominated for Game of the Year, when we all know that if it was nominated for Game of the Year, you'd be writing long-ass Twitter essays about how much it doesn't deserve it. And yet you're making fun of Xbox guys for leading with their feelings? Like, how fucking old are you? What is this? You cannot use Santa Claus Fortnite in the Game Awards Fortnite vote. I'm gonna commit a federal crime. Peter Ovo says, seeing people say that Xbox should have made Alan Wake 2 exclusive, but they forget how the gaming media treated Quantum Break, another magnificent Remedy Entertainment game. If Alan Wake 2 was Xbox exclusive, it wouldn't have been nominated for the Game of the Year award. Yeah, I remember when Quantum Break came out. I remember just about everyone, Xbox guys included, talking about how a lot of the game was boring as shit and the live-action TV show bits were complete pace killers. And I also remember the PC version being a complete shit show, so basically nowhere near the praise that something like Alan Wake 2 was deserving of. Like, I can agree that Quantum Break may have been a little slept on in the moment, like, a little bit, but to suggest that it would be on the same level of praise as Alan Wake 2 is, like, just no. Literally no. This is, oh my god. The amount of revisionist history with the way things are received, the way media is received, like, the amount of media reception revisionist history on Twitter gives me a headache sometimes. I saw someone the other day trying to be like, wow, you guys thought Fan 4 Stick was bad? What is wrong with you guys? It's like, oh my lord. Every few years, the internet basically just decides on a certain thing and it's like, actually, that was great. And it's so exhausting. But anyways, comparing these two games because Remedy Entertainment made both of them is fucking dumb. The studio has made some huge improvements since Quantum Break, and that's part of the reason why Alan Wake 2 is so good. To act like Quantum Break wasn't recognized on the same level of Alan Wake 2 simply because it was an Xbox exclusive is revisionist history, plain and simple. Quantum Break did not deserve the amount of praise that Alan Wake 2 received, and you fucking know it. Grow up. Jeff Keighley created the Game Awards show in 2014. He is a well-known PlayStation fanboy. His buddies from popular gaming outlets like Kotaku, IGN, and Metro UK are also PlayStation fanboys. They vote on the games, so now you understand why Xbox games continue to get snubbed. This is exhausting. Like, this is exhausting. Let's just flash this fucking thing on screen here, though. These are all the Game Awards winners, and these are all the Game Awards winners ever. You know, I see 2 Sony games up there. I see 2 of them. But the big question for you, my dearie, is that from the years 2014 to 2022, is there an Xbox exclusive that you think deserved Game of the Year more than the games that got it? And from 2014 to 2022, any Xbox exclusive that you think was Game of the Year worthy. And that's not me saying Xbox games are shit. That's not me saying first-party Xbox games are all sucky because they're not Game of the Year. No, like 99% of the games that I play would never be Game of the Year contenders, you know? I think this whole thing is stupid. I think holding games to that kind of standard is ridiculous and restrictive. But genuinely, a single one. Maybe Microsoft's first-party output just hasn't been in the same, like, area as these, you know? Like, I don't feel like this should be controversial. Why are you taking this up with the Game Awards instead of taking this up with Microsoft? But, like, we have been taking this up with Microsoft, which is why they've been turning it around. I guarantee you that in the next couple years, Microsoft will probably have at least one Game of the Year contender. Maybe it'll be Fable. Maybe it'll be Avowed. Maybe it'll be fucking Gears of War 6 when that comes out in 2038. But I hate this thing that the Xbox fanboys do, where they're like, man, the Game Awards is so biased. They've always been biased. They've been biased the whole time. It's like, great, can you name a single fucking first-party Xbox game that should have won Game of the Year over these games? Look, this whole thing is stupid. This whole thing is a joke. Just play games, you know? Play games. Play games and we all go home and we all drink our coffee and dance around the couch together and play video games that we like. I don't know how to end this video. I'm so tired. Oh my god, I hate it. Toodles.